This episode of the What's Happening Delco podcast is sponsored by Delco Meets for Business. Check us out on Meetup at Delco Meets, the number 4 business, and attend one of our incredible networking events. Be sure to register, and we'll see you there. What's happening, Delco? I'm Rich Shane, and welcome to the What's Happening Delco podcast. Today I'm joined by Chrissy Dezzi of Dezzi's Dills. Chrissy, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, how are you? It's
I'm
good to
doing
be
tremendous,
here.
and I love talking about pickles and all
hmm
things fermented. So you're right there where I want to be. What are Desi Dills?
So, Desi's Dills, they're homemade small batched pickles. They are when I mean small batch, they're 100% homemade, so there's no added preservatives in there. And they are just made with love. And if you are a pickle lover, these are like an off the charts pickle that you probably have never tasted before. They're very fresh, like I said, small batch handcrafted pickles. And there's
Chris,
over 12 varieties.
Chrissy, how did you get started with Desi's Dills?
So I was, it's funny, everybody asks me this question. So I happen to be bartending at PJ's in Marple, and a customer came in and he had all these pickle, like cucumbers, and he was like, I don't know how to make pickles. And I was like, well, I'll help you, which is just like no big deal. So he pulls around and he has this big van, and then he comes out with like all these cucumbers. So I was like, oh boy. So I did them all for him, and then I would bring some, and then I started just making them and bringing them into work, and all the customers loved them, and they were like, oh my God, these are so good. And then they had asked me, could I buy some of them? And I was like, well, I don't sell them. And they're like, well, you need to. And a friend of mine said, look, there's a craft show coming up. Do it. And I didn't know what that I was like, what craft show? So I was like, so like new to me. So it was at Holy Cross. That was my first one. And then I went there with just like, let's say 30 jars, and I sold out pretty quick. And I was like, oh, okay, I think I can do this. And then like just one thing led to another with, and then all these flavors I was coming out with, and it just started to get bigger and bigger, and so it was like crazy. So it just started small, and now I'm in, over like what, 7 delis, and I'm just keep on branching out. So it's been good.
Have you always had a passion for pickles?
No, I mean I'm definitely a pickle lover, but I just, I do like pickles and I like making them. So, um, but I've never been like, oh my God, I'm gonna be like this pickle maker. No, it's just kind of something that just started, and then like I just kind of, and now obviously I enjoy it, and love creating and all that stuff.
You never know where that spark is going to come to create a
Mhm.
business just from an idea. Have you had or do you have this entrepreneurial, I want to build a business mindset? Did you always see yourself that
Always,
way?
always, always, always. And if you know me or my friends, they would tell you I always had something like, even when I was working, I had something on the side. It was always my own. Yes, definitely. I've always been an entrepreneur my whole life and had crazy ideas. And I was like, I'm going to do this and whatever. And then, and with the pickles, I never expected it to be, as big as it was. And then it just kind of like took off, and, and then I come up with stuff at crazy hours of the night. Like my Philly Dilly is a dill pickle with sharp provolone cheese in there. And I like woke up at like 2:30, I guess, in the morning. And I said to my husband, I'm like, I'm going to come out with a pickle with cheese. And he's like, what? I was like, I'm going to come out with a pickle with cheese. I think it's going to be good. And he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about, but I don't know. That sounds a little weird. I'm like, oh, trust me. And it's like my top seller. It's called the Philly Dilly.
You touched upon all these flavors, 12 flavors. You named
hmm
the Philly Dilly. What are some of the other flavors that people can enjoy and expect to have?
So I have a sweet and tangy, which is exactly how it sounds. It's sweet and hot. I have a regular garlic dill, which is a dill pickle with garlic. I have a classic for those people that just want a straight up pickle, an everyday pickle. You'd want the classic. I have a horseradish pickle for horseradish lovers. I have a hot, which I call it the dill instead of Diablo, dill. I have a maple bourbon pickle, which was inspired by my husband who asked me to come up with a bourbon pickle. He's a bourbon drinker. So that's a sweeter pickle. It's like a bread and butter base, and it has maple syrup in there and some bourbon. I have a bread and butter pickle, since we're talking about bread and butter. I have a garlic parmesan pickle that has actual parmesan cheese in it. I'm trying to think of some of my others that I have a Bloody Mary pickle, so that's interesting. People like that. There's no tomato juice in that. It's just a Bloody Mary pickle with spices, some horseradish, Old Bay. So that seems to be a popular one as well. Like there's something for everybody. Like I feel like there's some a ranch for all the ranch lovers. Usually the kids like that. Um, so I feel like there's like something for wasabi. So for wasabi lovers, they're good. So it's just they're just a little bit it's just like a take on a pickle. Like it's not your everyday pickle. They're just gourmet pickles, you know.
Your husband must love when you come up with a new idea for a pickle because I'm sure he gets to taste every
Yeah, he tastes everything. He'll taste everything like around St. Patty's Day, which I'll be coming out with in March. Every March I pull it out, the Jameson pickle. And that's got bacon bits in there. It's a sweeter pickle and obviously some Irish whiskey. So, but that only comes around, for in the whole month of March.
You spoke about your beginnings and customers and people giving you feedback that they really liked it and you should sell the pickles. What have been some of those aha moments for you when you said, you know what, I'm on to something here? All these entrepreneurial ideas, but this one, I'm on to something.
This one was just kind of like it was everybody like after I would go to these like events, everybody was talking about these pickles and I'm like and they would be like, "Oh my God, you're the one with the pickles, you're the one with the pickles." And then it just like came out, with this like everybody wanting these pickles. So then I thought my goal was to get into one deli. So my first deli I went into was I think it was Pagano's. And I went in and I talked to him and he was like, "Yeah, bring in a sample." And I brought in a sample and he's like, "Yes, we'll try them out and see how they go." Sure enough, they, went over great because I'm still in there and, um, so they were my first. And then Colonial Village in Havertown, they carry them there too. So they're like my two top ones. And then Guy's Foods in Briarcliff. They're in there as well. Um, and then I'm in Anthony's Takeout. They're in Springfield on Brookside. So they carry them as well. Um, Beer distributor, there's one in Brookhaven, A1 Beer Barn. They carry them in there. They're just trying to see where else. Everything's on my website too. If you go on to dezzisdills.com, dezzisdills.com, and it just tells you all the information, all the events, everywhere where I'm at. So obviously my 2026 calendar will be out soon of all the events that I'm at. So two things that I recently signed on to was I do these Bristol strolls. They're in Bucks County and they're huge. And I was approached. A woman is opening a shop. She opened a shop and it's called Shops on Mills. It's on 408 Mill Street and it's in Bristol. And it's a consignment shops and they have over 50 vendors, 50 to 100. It's kind of like the bazaar when the bazaar was there. I don't know, that was back in the day. But it's not as big. It's an old preschool, but they rent out spaces to all vendors. So you could go in there. It's like a one-stop shop. So I rented space recently in Bristol. I'm not there. Somebody sells you. You provide your, my refrigerator and all my pickles are there, and then they sell them for you. So, which is nice that I'm out in Bristol, so then people know that they could go there when I do events in Bristol. Um, and then Boost Corner. Boost Corner, I'm going to be at. They have a new place called the Nook. It's across from Annie Ann's, and that's in Boost Corner. And it's like a store, and then like vendors just rent there. So I'll be there. My first weekend is January 9th and 10th, but that'll be all on my page. January 9th, January 10th. Boost Corner, and then I give out samples of the pickles, always samples of the pickles, because once they try them, they're gonna buy them.
Chrissy, with all these things that you're doing, you're making the pickles, you're coming up with flavors, you're going to vendors, retail establishments to start setting up relationships. When do you sleep?
I was never a big sleeper anyway. I'm always in a million things, so I was really never a big sleeper. But I'm constantly working, like I work all the time, which isn't a bad thing. But I do, I keep it going. I keep it moving.
That entrepreneurial spirit for you, we talked about it, but what have some of the challenges been to starting your own business and going through the process of growing to where you are now?
Yeah, so it is people think when they look at it, oh my God, it's so awesome, and it is definitely rewarding, but it's a lot of work. I mean, a lot of work. Like if the pickles aren't quite ready yet and I have a show and I need to come out with, I mean, more pickles, like I need to make something work. If my ordering, if my containers are on back order, like these are little things, like I need these containers. I always said I should have somebody follow me around because there's always something crazy that goes on and I have to make it work, adjust it, fix it. Stressful things to where like I need these special containers, or if there's a spice that I'm missing, like when's my spice coming in? When's this? So it's like I'm always like sometimes I feel like I'm down to the wire with, okay, we got to make this work. So
Here's that
it's always challenging. It's always challenging.
here's that job interview question. Where do you see
Mm.
yourself in 5 years? Where is Desi's Dills in 5 years?
It's funny you say that because my whole goal was to get a food truck and have like this truck and do like everything with pickles, meaning grilled cheese and pickles, or pickle and cheese egg rolls, like stuff like that. But the more I've been into this and just seeing the business, it's kind of not the food truck is just not where I want to be. Which I thought that was, and it's not. I mean, the goal is I would love a little spot, even just to rent into like just say a place to do my things at, um, to do more adding on with the pickles. So maybe just to like I have, at events I do my fried pickles. I bring my homemade batter on the spot. I make great. My fried pickles are awesome. They're homemade. So a lot of people that do these, they just get frozen pickles and then they fry them and then they sell them. Where mine, I actually bring the batter on. Um, so stuff like that, I would love to have eventually a little spot. With other options for pickles, not just all pickles, maybe some other things, obviously in the store to carry, um, and have like food, and have your pickle lover option as well. Nothing too crazy.
You had me thinking, I've never had a pickle hot sauce before.
Oh, really? I do have them.
You do, or they do.
They do. I mean, give me time. That might be that's why I mean I have my 2026 my goals. So hopefully, I can get those achieved.
Hearing your origin story inspires me. It does. I love the way this started, where you are, where you're going. Who inspires you? Who motivates you?
Probably myself. I mean, honestly, I inspire and motivate myself every like it's got to get done. So I'm like, okay, we got to get it done. We got to. So I think one of the negatives for me is that I have to know when to turn it off. I have to know when to take a step back and like, okay, you need to kind of like take a break and like revamp. So I have a hard time doing that. So I mean, that's just I've always been like that, but I definitely that's like the one downfall is that I don't know when to shut it off, kind of.
You're out and about in Delco and you're going to your shop to make more pickles, or you're making a delivery and you have a cheesesteak craving. Where are you going for your cheesesteak in Delco?
Oh, where am I going for my cheesesteak in Delco? We're not talking about Philly, right?
Some people have answered that way, but if you can't find a good cheesesteak for you in Delco, where are you going?
You know who I like for cheesesteaks? I mean, I definitely love cheesesteaks. I just tried Nico's in Clifton Heights, and I really liked their cheesesteak. They just opened. They're across from Holy Cross, and I really, really like their cheesesteaks a lot. They have there. I mean, there's a lot of places that I do like. My first choice is definitely two spots in South Philly. They're Skinny Joey's, which Little Snuff tried my pickles. He did a review. of my pickles. I like Skinny Joey's cheesesteaks. I like Angelo's. They're like two of my top. Angelo's and Skinny Joey's are like my favorite cheesesteaks in the city. And then around here, I do feel like there are some good cheesesteaks places, but I just feel like, the city, you kind of like, there's nothing like the city for that kind of stuff. But I did like Nico's. I did. That was my last one that I had. That's why I'm trying to think of the last cheesesteak I had.
You've satisfied your cheesesteak craving and you have a pizza craving. Where are you going for your pizza?
Oh, again, if I'm getting it around here, I like Italian Delight in Broomall. I do like their pizza a lot. Um, I think that if I was going to order from around here, it would probably be, for me, Italian Delight in Broomall. Um, I like Stogie Joe's in the city. That's my favorite pizza. But if I was getting pizza around here, probably Italian Delight.
All right, this portion of our podcast is brought to you by Taft Treats in Brookhaven. They make amazing treats. Go to their website, Taft Treats, TAFF Treats. And but what they want to know is, what do you like on your pizza? What are your toppings?
People love like pepperoni and all this. Like I love pepperoni, but not on my pizza. I like sweet onions and peppers on my pizza. I don't like any meat on my pizza though. Isn't that weird? It's so weird.
It's the way you like your pizza. Nothing weird about it. We all have our own way.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's the one thing I can say. My favorite is like peppers and a sweet onion. But again, I love pepperoni. I just don't like it on my pizza.
Chrissy, I thought you were going to say pickles. That was going to be my thought.
Well, guess what? Isn't that a note? I do put in the morning time, you know what I do? I get my scrambled eggs and stick my Diablos in them, the hot pickles, because my favorite are hot pickles. I'll dice them up and put them in my eggs. And it's like the best. I put them in everything, honestly. But yeah, I've had pickle pizza and I've put my Desi's Dills on that pizza.
Now you have me wondering, there's a recipe section of your website for the use of all these pickles. Do you have a Bloody Mary that you use these pickles in that you make too?
So obviously I can make a Bloody Mary because I bartend. So, but I always put, especially like what I'm trying to get into in in 2026 is my brine. My brine is really good. And like for instance, my wasabi brine, you could brine chicken in that. I had somebody use my Philly Dilly brine for a salad dressing. And I do have like a page and a private page, and people send me stuff on the page of what they did with the brine. So with my brine, you could reuse it twice. So what people do is they'll either put their cucumbers in there and let it sit 2, 3 days and rebrine it, or they'll put it like in chicken or fish. Like somebody said to me, "Oh my God, my salmon was so bland, but I put your maple bourbon brine on it and it tasted amazing." So one of the things was getting out my brine and having that for an option to people to use that'll kind of elevate their dinner, their meats. Just have it marinate.
That'll be our next segment on the
Mhm.
podcast. All the things you can do with Desi's Dills and the brine and to elevate what you're putting on the plate for your family and friends. That'll be our next part.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot you could do with it. There's a lot.
You have a convenience store need? Where are you stopping? Wawa or Royal Farms?
Oh gosh, Wawa, for sure.
Chrissy, how do you describe Delco to someone who's never lived here before or has not heard of Delco before?
Well, it's definitely unique and something that, you got to see for yourself. Um, we are a unique kind of town, and we're proud to be Delconians, as I say. We love, our Philly teams. We love our Eagles. We love our Phillies, all our Philly teams we love. Um, I would say that it's like, you describe it as we're just good people that, we work hard and we like what we like and it's definitely unique.
You have friends or family coming in from out of town and you want to give them or take them to have that Delco experience. Where are you sending them or where are you taking them?
Are we talking in general or are we talking food?
It's your trip, it's your experience, however you want them to feel that Delco experience.
So we're staying in Delco. That's a good question. That is a good question. I'm trying to think of where I would take them if they were coming in. We'd probably go to dinner. We'd probably go to Anthony's for dinner because, um, I do like going there for dinner if I'm going to go out to dinner. And I would have them try the eggplant parmesan because I love their eggplant parmesan. I think that they have the best eggplant parmesan, but hands down, no doubt, no comparison, for sure. I would probably take them around the places. I would probably go see my sister-in-law down at Barnaby's. She bartends down there, so I would probably visit her and say, "This is Barnaby's Total Delco, place," and we would go visit her. Um, I'm trying to think where else we would go. I mean, you got to check out, all the little shops, I guess. Go to the Lawrence Park Shopping Center, check out that, or go Baltimore Pike and check out that. Um, just I guess all around and um, putt putt. Got to check out putt putt if you're in Delco.
Here's what I know. Hanging out with you is fun. And whatever you decide to do, wherever you decide to go, it's really going to be fun. You're going to get a really great taste of Delco, the flavor of what Delco is and does. Chrissy, is there anything we haven't spoken about on the podcast today? Anything you want listeners to know more about you or more about Desi's Dills?
Sure. So they can go on again. I have a webpage. It's dezzisdills.com. That's Dezzis, Dills, DILLS.com. I also have a Facebook page. I have a private one, but I also have a public one. I am on Instagram as well. Dezzi's Dills, again, DEZZIS, DILLS. And you could just join my page. And I'm always putting up like when I restock at the delis and where I'm going to be each weekend. Come check out, go to the delis, check out my pickles, or you can come by for samples first. The next event I'm going to be at is going to be Boost Corner, January 9th. I'll be across the way at Annie Ann's. So if you can find Annie Ann's in Boost Corner, just turn your head and I'll be right there, and I'll be giving out samples of all the pickles.
Chrissy Desi's Dills, thank you so much for sharing all that you do, your entrepreneurial spirit. What you bring is amazing. I love your energy. I love your enthusiasm. The idea of talking pickles and all that we're talking about today and what you bring and all the flavors. Thank you so much for doing that. We're grateful for your time tonight, for being a friend of What's Happening Delco. We can't wait to see you out and about in Boost Corner, wherever you're going to be at some of those local delis. Pick up all the jars, try all the flavors, and just have a great time. So thanks, Chrissy. I really appreciate your time tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's Rich. Thank you so much for being a listener to the What's Happening Delco podcast. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to learn more about the people and businesses in our community. I have been a real estate agent for over 25 years, working with first-time home buyers to last-time home sellers. As a listener of the podcast, my gift to you is a complimentary 1-year American Home Shield home warranty. This is for buyers and sellers that I help. If you're looking to move anywhere in the United States, I have you covered with an amazing network of real estate agents. I look forward to hearing from you. My direct line is 215-313-3777, or you can email me at rshaneremax@comcast.net. Oh, by the way, I am never too busy for any of your referrals.